Hey everyone, welcome in to another KE Report featured webinar. In this webinar, I am featuring GR Silver Mining and the president and CEO, Marcio Fonseca. GR Silver is traded on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol GRSL and on the OTCQB under the symbol GRSLF. Now, this presentation is going to be very much focused on the company's flagship projects, two projects actually, the Plomosas project and the San Marcial project. Now, Marcio just got back from a trip to Mexico, so within this presentation, there are a lot of updates of what's actually happening on site, and the company was fortunate to be able to continue working during the whole COVID shutdown. So they had gotten a lot of work done and continue to advance both of these projects. Marcio, I'm going to throw it over to you to run us through this shortened presentation, this more focused presentation, but I will be interjecting questions throughout. So please, Marcio, take us away.
Thank you, Corey. As you said, just got back from Mexico, where I was able to see the drill rigs working, went underground, visit both projects again, Plomosas and San Marcial. So the presentation is going to feature a lot of updates, what's happening on site. So for those who are not familiar, we are a silver gold mining company in Mexico, Sinaloa, in the Rosario mining district. Our business is to advance the projects toward definition of economics, because we have a resource already at San Marcial. We are doing underground development there to do more drilling, but we bought this year 100% of the Plomosas project. And combining those two projects, you see here the picture is the Plomosas project. It's amazing because a lot of synergies, saving costs, and having a potential open pit of an underground silver gold project can be very important for the growth of this company. I'll be making some forward-look statements. This is the traditional standard cautionary statement. So what's important? We have the San Marcial and the Plomosas. As I said, we have a 43-1 compliant resource at San Marcial, 40 million ounces of silver, likely to be open pit, low strip ratio. We still need to do more economics, but we did some preliminary ones, and it's showing very positive. But with the acquisition of the Plomosas, with 563 historic and recent drill holes, plus the drilling program that it's progressing as we speak. We have 2 drill rigs at Plomosas. There's a 3rd coming. We believe we can expand this 40 million ounces to something much larger. And using the situation where Plomosas has infrastructure, permits, Plomosas, you can operate a mine. You don't need to apply for a permit. We can combine these 2 assets, Plomosas and San Marcial, reducing capex, making much lower opex, and make a very, very attractive silver gold future potential operation in Sinaloa, in Rosario.
Marcio, just remind everybody how close together Plomosas and San Marcial are.
5 kilometers on a straight line, and there is a road. Both projects have a power line. So all this counts as a way to de-risk the assets and make them more attractive.
Perfect, thank you.
So on this next slide, fully diluted capital structure, 153 million shares. That's the market cap. The share has been performed a lot, very well since we acquired the project in March. Even before the current silver rush, the market realized that we control key assets in this district. We have the key silver and gold assets in the Rosario mining district. So you can see the performance of the shares on the right side. Today trading at 71.72, but high of up to 90 cents recently, based on drill hole results. And also the oversubscription of financing. We got a bought deal that was initially marketed to us at 5 million, and we ended up raising 9.1 million, bringing a lot of resource funds, and also a key shareholder, the vendor of the Plomosas Silver Project, First Majestic. They invested 1 million Canadian dollars in the company. Another proof that they believe in the management, and they still believe that the Plomosas Silver Project may have some value in the future. Important cash position close to 8.38 million Canadian dollars, but the options and warrants are heavily in the money, which might bring probably 5 million to the company between now and next year. The company is fully funded for the next 2 years to run all the drilling, resource estimation, engineering studies at both projects. About people directly involved, 100% of the time, myself and Trevor a lot of experience in Latin America, particularly Mexico, both fluent in Spanish. We have been able to manage remotely, and now we have a program in place that every month there is one person, executive of the company, going to Mexico. When we come back, we have the quarantine here, but when we get there as well, we are tested in a way that we can really run the meetings and manage the 15 geologists that we have on site. 15. It's a fully staffed company working at full speed on those assets. We recently hired an exploration manager, ex-Great Panther, Cade Resource, another Canadian that's fluent Spanish. His name is David Hadley. So we are growing. As board of directors, our AGM is coming September. You're going to see that one of these two advisors here are going to step up and become a director in the company. So another proof that, like the former chairman of Meg Silva, is going to be a director in GRSL Mining. As you can see, we have been involved in many big companies, also financial institutions. It's a good mix of technical, financial expertise, and a lot of experience and track records of deals in Mexico, such as Silvercrest Mines. Management was heavily involved with the founders at some stage. I'm going to make use of the drawing to give a bit of more view about what's going on in that district. Today, we are concentrating on these two assets here, San Marcial and Plomosas. Similar geology with Vizsla and San Dimas. We control 100% of Plomosas. We are about to advance discussions on San Marcial. There's an option payment of 2.5 million Canadian dollars next year. And as we speak, we are evaluating the area between them with 3 geologists working full-time, because we have exclusivity to buy this dark gray area here. That's the former Trinidad open pit project. And the exclusivity goes into December. We are in the middle of the due diligence, looking at financials and technicals, and we are going to make a decision or not about the acquisition by December. In addition to these 2 assets that we treat as a combined asset, we also have a lot of concessions very close to the Fresnillo exploration project in Rosario, which is very important for us. We are going to be doing some work in the near future as well. And up north, we have a large concession that's in the same mining district as Vizsla, the Concordia mining district. So we are well established for growth with potential opportunities for a spin-off, but right now we are concentrating in the resource expansion at these 2 assets, San Marcial and Plomosas.
So Marcio, did that last fundraise of over $9 million, did that change any of the strategy in terms of attacking these other projects or moving forward with this La Trinidad option?
Yeah, in relation to La Trinidad, we have a transaction that the framework would be to provide a royalty to the vendor, that's Mako Mining. They are leaving Mexico and going to Nicaragua, and assume some of the liability related to the taxes in relation to this concession. We are in discussions with the Mexican government. That's another reason why I went to Mexico, to meet the authorities and discuss how to finance the payment of the taxes not paid related to La Trinidad. And Mako Mining is doing the reclamation. We need to be comfortable that all the environmental has been reclaimed and there's no liabilities as well. In relation to these other concessions, as I outlined here, we are going to divert some of the geologists, 1 or 2 in the near future, to start collecting data, because not many people is aware, but it's very difficult to get concessions in Mexico today. And these concessions are well located, location, as geology next to Fresnillo in the same district of Vizsla. Okay. Let's talk about Plomosas. Oops, 1 sec. Where are we drilling? We are drilling on surface. It's a surface drilling. We are drilling on the Plomosas mine area because most of the drill holes were concentrated in a small area. We are drilling along the strike, and we are drilling also in San Juan. We plan to add 4,500 meters of drilling together on those 2 assets, and also put 1,000 meters scout drilling outside in some areas, which I'm going to explain later. And we have released 110 of the 563 drill holes that we have in the database. And the next couple of weeks, which is important, consistent news flows based on brand new drill results from here, from here, and also some of these yellow dots, which are all historic and recent drill holes drilled by First Majestic and Grupo Mexico. And then 6 to 9 months, likely to have a resource for the first time put together for the Plomosas Mine area. There's no 43-101 in this property, and another resource here may be at San Juan, and continue to do resource in other areas. We have still more 4 areas. Would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 areas. And San Marcial, we finished the sampling on a 25 or 25 meter grid of this area. A lot of information. Nobody has ever collected so much data in rock and soil, showing us that we have probably 14 areas outside here that we need to work. We picked up 4 that we are going to do more work now. So in addition to 2 drill rigs that are working, one here, another here, we are going to bring a third one to do some work drilling, deep drilling at Plomosas, likely to move later to San Marcial.
Okay, so it's important to note here, Plomosas, you're moving towards 1, maybe even 2 resources, but still doing exploration drilling. At San Marcial, it sounds like you're really further defining some more exploration targets. Is that fair to say?
That's right. We've been very diligent to define the 14 targets at San Marcial, but also we have 11 targets, which I'm going to explain very quick later, that we hired an independent geologist, geochemistry, to evaluate all the data that we received from First Majestic Group of Mexico. And now we believe that we are likely to have probably more 11 zones outside of this area that we can go and put some drill holes, initial drill holes, to have discoveries. Next slide, what's Plomosas? As presented many times before, it's a tunnel, 8 kilometers, was an old lead zinc mine, but now we are discovering silver and gold veins on the walls. And with the infrastructure, the underground development, we don't need to excavate a tunnel. We are considering, post my visit, likely to engage another drilling company to come and have underground drill holes as well. So the drilling activity is going to be very intensive at Plomosas, as you can see. And why we're doing this, the next slide is very important. This is an example of a level 775 in Plomosas. You can see the geologist here at the bottom. That's the scale. The ore body, the mineralization, when they shut down, the whole mineralized zone was 25 meters thick and 50 meters long. And we are discovering more mineralization at the bottom of these pillars. If you look very well here in the center of the photo, that's a geologist, and you can see the height of the pillars. So we are not dealing with narrow veins here at Plomosas. It's a big ore body that we believe have continuity down deep and accessible. So we can place drill rigs here very quick and continue to define the extension of the Plomosas breccia, that's the lead zinc with some silver gold, but also at the bottom of these pillars, we are discovering more different styles of mineralization with gold, copper, and very interesting that we can really investigate and bring to the public as a discovery. This is the first time we are showing a picture of the old underground tunnels. They are not small, showing that there's a dimension here as a scale about how big the ore bodies can be. We are very excited because this provides immediate access for potential areas for more discoveries at Plomosas. And shallow, we are probably talking about 200 meters below the surface with 2 tunnels that access this area. Next slide. Still talking about the Plomosas mine area, we have released 4 or 5 sections on a 400-500 meters strike length. Most of the drill holes were drilled to define the tunnels for the previous underground mine. What we are doing now is, I'm going to outline here very quick. We are drilling along the strike here. Why? Because the geologists have defined veins and breccia very close to the surface, which were not before drilled to define potential resource. And we also believe we can extend to the north as well. So the drilling program that we have with the drill rigs here is for 150, 175 meters long drill holes to define what's really close to the surface. And then we can really define the full extension of the system in this whole area, almost probably doubling the strike length. That's what's happening in Plomosas.
Marcio, any thoughts on why some of these targets to the south and north were not drilled by the previous operator?
Yeah, many, particularly here to the south, in these shallow drilling targets, we didn't find many drill holes. Most of the holes are concentrated in this central area here. So we believe we can put some drill holes here. We have drilled 2 already. They are at the lab. We are drilling the 3rd here and put some drill holes here. Of course, we have put some deep holes here as we are discovering more mineralization at the level 775. And the access to the underground is very close here. We can access and put some underground holes testing both areas. You can see on the right side, we are not dealing with only lead and zinc. We have evidence that we have thickness for silver and gold, high grade mineralization. Very attractive for definition of new resources and potentially a new mine here in the next 1.5 to 2 years. Okay. Back, continuing Plomosas, again, now is another area that could be potentially a resource in the next 6 to 9 months. A lot of drilling was done around the hill in San Juan, this area here. That's why what we've been released. But now we believe the system is probably our way from here to here, close to 1 kilometer, and other areas around, showing to us that it's a much larger system, and we are looking to drill some of these areas as well, because with the 15 geos working in this area, we are encountering a lot of evidence of more veins in other areas here, which we want to drill. So there will be a combination of the recent historic holes and brand new fresh drill holes, hope with more discoveries in these areas. That's San Juan.
How far is San Juan from this Plomosas mine target?
2 kilometers on a paved road, on an unpaved road, apologies. Very close. It's on the other side of the hill here. It's very easy to get close, and it's almost a satellite deposit. We treat us all together. So let's talk about what else is outside of Plomosas, the areas that we are drilling and the areas that were drilled before. As I said before, we engaged an external experienced geologist, geochemist, to look all the data. I didn't say much, but before, First Majestic Group of Mexico invested $18 million in exploration, geophysics, geochemistry. So we have defined 11 new areas never ever explored, which we believe you might be able to encounter veins. You can see the areas named on this slide here from 1 to 11. These are completely outside of the resource, the future resource area, and likely to have epithermal veins or breccias. And how we are going to drill? First, we send the field workers with portable drill rigs to check the veins and breccias, 20 meters deep holes. If we encounter positive results, we bring the semi-portable, we can dismantle this drill rig and drill from the surface. This drill rig here can drill up to 150 meters using local workforce, so we don't need to have expats coming, and we are not impacted by the pandemic. So that's why we've been very active at Plomosas as well.
So is this really just the strategy of having all these targets that have not been tested and getting a cheap drill on site just to see what is actually underground so that you can maybe follow up on some of the more high grade intercepts?
That's true. So that's the part of the strategy.
Okay.
So continue the presentation. We are going to talk about San Marcial. It's a very important slide. If you look at on the lower right, this was last year. The tunnel was a small door, 1 meter wide, 1.5 meter high. Today is a modern tunnel, close to 380 meters inside the mountain. The geologists now can go inside and look at the rocks and define new veins, new breccias. And that's where we are going to put a drill rig in the coming weeks. I hope we are about to finish the tunnel. We only have 14 meters to excavate and need to improve the ventilation, but we are very excited. Nobody has ever done what we did here, to have a tunnel that goes into the core of the mountain and showing the breccia. Why we did this? is the situation here. The tunnel is exactly where it's showing here, at this entrance here. We built a brand new road, cut in the hill, and the tunnel is going all the way inside here. All these black dots are shallow holes, not more than 250 meters below the surface. We realize that this breccia that's in red here continues down deep. On surface, we have very attractive thickness and grades, which support a potential open pit. And also believe that we have gold in the system. We did the first hole last year here, outside of the resource, and we hit a high-grade gold vein, which you need now to study more. And we have geologists working to the southeast and here to try to understand how we can really find more breccias here and veins. But this road here is a brand new development. It's like a cut on the hill exposing rocks. So we can now go and sample 300 meters in this zone and get more samples and try to understand better the footwall of the mineralization, trying to find more mineralization in this area. This is where we believe we can have a potential open pit, low strip ratio project. The metallurgy has been done, high recoveries for silver and gold, up to a potential flow sheet where this can be a potential project to produce not a concentrate but a doré, because of the quality of the metallurgy and how easy silver and gold leaches. So continue that tunnel and how we are excited. The tunnel, this is the plan. We are very close to this pink point here. That's where we are going to put a drill rig, because we still believe that we have grades for underground mine. From here to here, I'm going to draw a line here so you can have an idea. From here to here is roughly 200, 250 meters. This is the ore body that we have in the 43101. And we believe we can have an open pit to start with, but it's open in this direction. So you can see here, where I put the arrow, we can continue to drill here, we believe. And more than that, one drill hole, we discovered that there is gold. It's mineralized, but we believe the footwall of this silver zone can be mineralized in gold. So we need to investigate that as well. That's another thing that we believe it's very important as upside in this project.
So the gold component really would just be kind of an added bonus here, though, right? This is a silver play, but you are seeing smatterings of gold.
Yes, and it's important as well because this can be the base of the pit. What is waste can be a marginal gold ore, can improve the economics, but it's predominantly silver as we speak. That's
okay, thank you.
So continue San Marcial. We've been talking a bit about this because we are the first company to cover 2/3 or more of the concession, close to 3/4, on every 25 meters, collecting soil and rock. Why that's important? That gave us opportunity to define anomalies, lead, zinc, arsenic, sulfur, and now we have 14 new targets. And we picked up 4 of them that we are evaluating for drill and to be drilled in 2020. Nobody has ever covered so much of the San Marcial concession in order to define how to expand the resource also along the strike, because the resource covers a small portion in the center of the concession. We still believe we can have more opportunity to expand in this direction here, this way and this way. So today, the company is still 100 million market cap. We believe very quick in the next 6-9 months, we have a lot of key elements to move our way up in this direction because we control the assets, not big major payments. We have a resource, 40 million ounces to start with. We believe we can expand. We have 2 assets now, Plomosas and San Marcial. Great combination. Well supported by resource funds and shareholders such as First Majestic, JDS Mining, and funds like Sprott Asset Management, and Earth Resource UK, and other funds in Canada like Mackenzie. And management has a lot of skin in the game, invested money, it's fully dedicated to this business. And we have not arrived in Mexico yesterday. We've been doing business in Mexico for more than 10, 12, 15 years. So we know how to operate there.
Well, one
So
thing that I
timeline
can add to
milestones.
this that actually, sorry, Marcio, one thing that ties in with this next slide in terms of timelines is that I've been following the company now for probably about 2 years, and that's when the company just held the San Marcial project. You've done a lot of work to build that resource, grow that resource, and now this whole Plomosas deal, it really has advanced the company into more than just a single asset player. And well, you were able to bring in some of those larger shareholders or larger companies to the company. That all ties in with this timeline and milestones because of how quickly you guys have developed. So sorry for interrupting, but continue on here.
No problem. You're right. And we are not a single asset company. We control a portfolio of 29,000 hectares. Inside the portfolio, we have 2-3 key assets. And that gives a lot of optionality and opportunities for investors in this company in the future as well. So 6 to 9 months, a lot will happen, a lot of drilling, a resource estimation, and moving towards to define next year a district scale silver and gold system and start working in the integration of the San Marcial and Plomosas. We have hired the underground engineers now to help us to evaluate the Plomosas mine, what was mined, what was left, and do a full 3D model of that mine. We are about to engage more metallurgical engineers to investigate the silver and gold mineralization. We have a lot of historical data related to what was the recovery for lead and zinc, but we believe now we need to advance studies on the silver and gold mineralization as well, aiming beyond 12 months to get a full kind of economic study. It can be a PEA, can be a PFS. That's what we are going to see as the integration of these two assets. That's the story.
Perfect. Well, Marcio, in full disclosure, I do have to say that I do hold shares in GR Silver Mining, and I will continue to follow up with you in terms of news, in terms of any questions that people send in. Everyone, I can be reached at fleck@kereport.com. Send me all your questions. I'll get those answered and also record interviews on the back of them to make sure that everybody can stay up to date as this story progresses. There are also some contact information for the company. But overall, Marcio, I appreciate you taking some time sharing the general story and the near-term catalyst. That's what's so important about developing or advancing the Plomosas and San Marcial project. So Marcio, appreciate your time on this webinar, a more interactive presentation on these projects.
Thank you again, Corey. Thank you very much.